Hey y'all, today I wanted to talk about something that rattles around in my brain a little bit, and I don't really know a better way to describe it other than technology philosophy. So technology philosophy, in my words, is basically concerned with, are these technologies actually benefiting us? Are they making life easier for us? Are they providing for us? Or are they putting us into just a different state of capitalism where we get the same things, but the jobs just change? And I largely feel like that's what's happening with technology. And so I want to look at like four of our base needs and the way that those are being met and look at how that's not really a great system from the get-go. And then we're trying to expand off that system that doesn't have a good foundation to begin with. Okay, so for these industries off the bat, food, that's a base need. And I study food, I study farming. The way that food is produced is not good. It's not good the way that we import and export it. It's not good the way that we subsidize it and regulate it in certain ways. It's not good that we don't regulate it in other ways. And it's not good that it's monopolized, CAFOs for animals, monocrop agriculture. There's so many ways that our base need of food is not being met properly. And so all this technology, for instance, that's been put into farming, like tractors and automation. So this tractor could do the work of 10 men. But if that doesn't make the price of that crop 10 times cheaper for everyone, then it's a net loss for society because these 10 people were employed growing that. Now, if you take their jobs away and you don't reduce the price of that commodity because of that advanced technology making it cheaper to produce, then it's not benefiting society. It's actually a net loss. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's certain technologies that they could be implemented in a way that could benefit society, but if they're implemented in a very greedy, capitalistic way that wants to take everything for the person that owns the machine or the technology, patents are kind of, look up Thomas Edison if you want to get into that, different rabbit holes. But so farming is one of those industries. Textiles, like clothing, that's another industry that's like largely done off slave labor. So it's like, why are the clothes that we're wearing all produced in such a crappy way? That's one of our base needs. How are we abusing so many people in order to create that system? That just doesn't really jive with me. So we're all focused on going to space, and it's like the clothes on our backs are like slave and child labor made. So how do we get out of that one? That seems like a base thing that, okay, clothes should be cheap because of all the technology that we have to produce them. But instead, they produce them for super cheap and then they sell them to us for very expensive, and they keep making them crappy and crappy quality. So how come we don't have the best quality clothes now because of all the technologies that we have, all the different fibers we can create? Why do we have lower quality stuff? It's not working. It's a base need that's not being met, and that has an abusive supply chain, similar to farming, with different kinds of things, import, export, migrant labor, etc. So that's another weird one. Didn't really even think about this, but technology, right? So much of the technology is being produced is being powered by batteries that are mined by like individuals with like babies. Look up some of the videos of that, like the cobalt mining in Africa, in the Congo. So that stuff's really bad too. So even the thing that I'm communicating to you through right now has like a basis of something awful in the line of production. So is that technology a net benefit for society? Is it actually making things where we're all, like how come with all this technology, our work week is 40 hours still? You don't think that in like 50 years of technological advances, we can't shave a couple hours off that work week? I'm just saying, is it really a benefit, this technology? So I'm not trying to be like, and I don't want to phrase the Luddites as people that were afraid of technology, but they were people that smashed some of the machines during the industrial age when their bosses were just getting out of line. And so I'm not trying to be like, oh, we need to crush the machines. We need to go back to just like farming, living off the land, like hand to mouth, even exchange, regenerative, everything. I'm not being extremist like that, but I'm just saying, like, if we don't look at these base supply chains and fix the way that those are functioning, we're building the rest of this system on a skeleton of just corruption and abuse. So how can we have these advanced technologies? How are they actually supposed to benefit us if we're not actually decreasing the price of these goods so that it makes everything cheaper for people? We're keeping the price the same and we're taking the jobs away. So it's making things harder for people. And we're actually lowering their working conditions in certain ways. Like, maybe it sucks to have to work really hard with your body all day, but if you have to work with a machine that will like sever your limb in an instant, that's just a different working condition. So yeah, the working conditions are not always improved when we improve this output, and the rate that these people are being paid is not always improved either. So we really got to look at these base things. We got the technology's bad, the clothing's bad, the food's bad, the way that our houses, our shelter is produced. I work in construction. I'm a carpenter, so I can tell you that it's not very good. The supply chains on that stuff are awful. It's a total monopoly. There's a bunch of fake companies pretending that they're different, but they're all owned by like 2 or 3 of the same companies, right? Black and Decker, and we got the Milwaukee, which owns Ryobi or Ryobi or whatever, however you say that, and Black and Decker, Stanley owns Craftsman and owns DeWalt. So all these things that you think are different, and Irwin, are all just the same brands. So that entire system is all messed up too, and it's not functioning. These parts should be interchangeable, but they purposely make things that don't work together so that you keep having to buy and consume more and more stuff. And technology is the same way. Like, how is it okay for Apple to be like, we're just going to make a different charging plug than everyone else, and you have to use that? In Europe, they push back against that, and I think they're going to be phasing that out, but somebody let me know in the comments if they've already done that. But there's all these ways that if we could implement the technology in an ethical way, we could improve things for everybody. But if we continue to do it in a like fascist capitalistic way, where it's like, well, I'm going to patent my charger and no one can use my special charger because if they use my charger, then they're taking my IP. It's like, if this is technology that's good for society, it kind of should be public domain in a way. So when people continue, like when people patent medicines for like an obscene amount of money, that's another industry, medicine. Look at the way our healthcare system works. It's absolutely outrageous. So our technology is bad, our food is bad, our clothing is bad, our structural foundation of our like houses and everything is bad. Like we're not living in a world where our base needs are being met in a way that satisfies everyone. Frankly, it's a terrible system. Every single one of those systems, sure, you can find good examples of a good clothing company, a good farm, but they're few and far between. So if you ask me, we really need to start taking a look at those things and stop trying to like technologically advance everything in a little different way. It's like, how about we look at the system that's actually corrupt? We need to update the software on this structure, okay? Because it's not working and it's leaving a lot of people with nothing and some people with everything. So if this whole system's like not really working out for us, I just can't be stoked about the latest technology coming out because it's not really going to really benefit us. It's going to benefit some of the people at the top, and it's what's actually going to do is increase the rate that we all need to work at. Remember before we all had cell phones, like if you're old enough to remember that, you didn't have to get back to somebody right away. And if you talk to an older person, they'll tell you, yeah, you didn't even hear back from people until they called you back on your house line and you'd leave messages for each other maybe. And before that, they had to write each other letters. So the amount of time that you're expected to respond to an email, a text message, a call from your boss, your partner, your family members, your friends, it's instant now. We have an expectation that we have to use the technology that costs us money. You get what I'm saying? Here's one more example, and then I'll try to wrap this video up because hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. And I'm not saying all technology is bad. I'm just saying the way that it's being implemented isn't necessarily helping us. And here's an example of that. There's a total monopoly on energy, at least here in California. And wherever you're at, you're kind of stuck with the energy company in that area. They own all of the infrastructure, and it's totally stupid. Legally, it doesn't make sense. Plus, they're always causing fires and everything, but that's besides the point. So, in the last 10 years, my energy bill for living in the same size places, consuming a similar amount of wattage, has like more than doubled. It's outrageous. So, when our energy bills are going up so high, and simultaneously they're like, you guys need to use more all electric stuff, like all electric cars by 2030 and this and that in California, at least selling them. You get what I'm saying? So they're pushing towards a thing that's already gotten more than 100% more expensive in the last 10 years for me. So in the next 10 years, is it going to get 100% more expensive again? And then plus I'm going to have to double my wattage when everything's electrified. So I'm going to be paying like $1,000 a month electricity bill. Are you kidding me? So this is what I'm trying to say. A lot of these technologies, although they're great and they could really be benefiting us, are being implemented in a way that's actually holding us down and controlling us. And I just think it would be great if people would bring into the conversation that we really need to meet these base needs. Like these people that have an exorbitant amount of wealth, why don't they start helping us out with medicine? Why don't they start helping us out with our food production? Why don't they start helping us out with ending sweatshops? They could do all these things like a snap of their fingers. Like if you don't have $100,000, Elon Musk in probably the next year or two is going to have like $500 billion wealth. All right. So if you have $500 billion of wealth, then you could pull $5 billion out of your wealth the same way that a person with $100,000 of resources could pull $1,000 out of their wealth. All right. So if somebody like that could just pull out that relative $1,000, that little tiny bit of like pocket change for them, they could pay off like our whole medical debt in this whole country. So why aren't we doing stuff like that? It's like the technology, the stuff that we're like, oh, we gotta get AI to do this and we gotta do that. It's like, why are we trying to cure the next disease when we can just alleviate everyone's medical debt? That would cure so much more stuff so much more quickly and start providing people with healthcare. We're like trying to cure these other, we're pushing the envelope further on everything, but we're like not even giving the people what we have. It just doesn't make sense. All right, so anyway, hopefully that wasn't too much of a bummer. And it's a little cold in here, so I forgot. Got a little emotional about that too, but thanks for letting me express. And yeah, I'll try not to be such a bummer on the next video, but technology's not bad. I really just think we got to work together on how we could use it in a sustainable way for society. All right, thanks. Peace.